Spent half my life running from the past. Then one day, I rode straight back into it. Found that liver late one fall, same muddy banks and cottonwoods tall. Water moved like years gone by, never asking reasons why. I tied my horse where I used to fish, back when life was smaller than this. Before the smoke, before the blame, before folks cursed my name, the world keeps score. The river knows who I used to be, long before the outlaw in me, before the scars and county lines, before I left my better side. The river knows, the river sees, the boy still buried underneath. And when the whole world turns away, the river remembers anyway. Sat there till the daylight died, watching shadows stretch and slide. For the first time in years I felt the weight begin to slowly melt. No judge, no law, no bounty claim, just flowing water saying my name. Some things forgive without a word. The river knows who I used to be, long before the outlaw in me, before the scars and county lines, before I left my better side. The river knows, the river sees, the boy still buried underneath. And when the whole world turns away, the river remembers anyway. Maybe redemption ain't a church bell, maybe it ain't a prayer, maybe it's sitting where the hurt began and staying there. The river knows who I became, every loss and every shame, but it carries them beyond the bend, like they don't have to be the end. The river knows, the river runs beneath the moon, beneath the sun. And if tomorrow never comes, at least tonight I've come undone. The river kept flowing like it always had. "200 miles of blacktop, No town lights, no mercy. Just me and whatever's riding behind. Left Amarillo with blood on my hands, a stolen colt and a pocket of plans. Moon hung low like a judge in the sky, watching every mile roll by. A state line crossed in a cloud of dust, running on gasoline and bad luck. Radio hissed like a rattlesnake's tongue, whispering what I'd become. Rear view mirror, something moved in the dark. There was a devil at mile marker 13, wearing my face in the moonlit beam. Same cold eyes and the scars I knew, like every lie had finally come true. There was a devil at mile marker 13, standing where the living ain't seen. He tipped his hat and smiled at me like he'd been waiting patiently. Past an old church, swallowed by weeds, a graveyard drowning in cedar trees. Every cross looked back through the night like a witness to my life. Then the engine coughed and the radio died. Silence climbed into the passenger side. I felt a chill where no wind should be, and a voice said quietly, "You can outrun the law, but you can't outrun me." There was a devil at mile marker 13, wearing my face in the moonlit beam. Every bullet, every debt unpaid, every ghost from every grave. There was a devil at mile marker 13, tall as regret, sharp as a dream. He tipped his hat and smiled at me like he'd been waiting patiently. No horns, no fire, no kingdom below. Just a lonely road, and the man I've been all along. There was a devil at mile marker 13, not in hell and not in a dream. He was every mile I tried to hide, every wound I carried inside. There was a devil at mile marker 13, and when the dawn broke clean, he vanished with a faded night. But he left his shadow right in mine. Mile marker 14. The road kept going. I wasn't sure I did. Every legend starts the same. A bad decision and one pull of a trigger. I was 23 and mean as drought, working cattle where the river bent south. A rusted truck and a borrowed name, trying hard to stay untamed. Then a railroad man came through our town with a silver watch and his money thrown around. Bought every acre that my daddy bled, like the living men less than the dead. Some men drank, some men pray, some men make a choice they can't raise. Down at the Blackwater County line, a good man's blood made a loaded 45. One flash of fire in the dead of night, and I crossed a road with no return sign. Blackwater County line still burns behind my eyes. That's where the law learned my name. summer heat. Mama cried when the posters came, said, son, you ain't coming home the same. So I saddled up before first light, left my shadow in the morning sky. Every mile put another scar between who I was and who you are. Down at the Blackwater County line, a good man's blood met a loaded 45. One flash of fire in the dead of night, and I crossed the road with no return sign. Blackwater County line still burns behind my eyes. That's where the law learned my name, and the devil joined the ride. The river keeps its secrets, the cottonwoods don't tell, but every midnight memory still drags me back to hell. Down at the Blackwater County line, the moon still hangs where I crossed that line. If I could trade every outlaw year, I'd leave that bullet buried here. Blackwater County line, where my soul got left behind. A young man's rage became my chain, and I've worn it all this time. That's the thing about crossroads. You never know it's won until you're gone. They'll sing songs about the gunfight, but they never sing about the silence after. I heard my name in a roadside bar, painted bigger than the truth by far. Some old drifter buying rounds all night, telling stories about my fights. Said I robbed banks from Arkansas down, never lost when trouble came around. Made me sound 10 feet tall and brave, like I never dug a single grave. Funny what survives and what gets left behind. There ain't no glory in the gallows, no angels waiting in the smoke, no crown for every promise broken, no medal for the hearts you broke. There ain't no glory in the gallows, just old regrets hanging from a rope. The world loves legends from a distance, but they don't know what they cost. I've seen boys chasing outlaw dreams, thinking life is what the stories mean, like freedom lives inside a gun, or redemption comes to everyone. But freedom's cold at 3 a.m. when the law is closing in again, and every friend you thought was true starts looking for a way through you. A reputation's easy to build, harder to survive. There ain't no glory in the gallows, no angels waiting in the smoke, no crown for every promise broken, no medal for the heart you broke. There ain't no glory in the gallows, just old regrets hanging from a rope. The world loves legends from a distance, but they don't know what they cost. Speak to the man I was back before the blood and dust, I tell him this: the road don't make you free, it just teaches you how to lose. There ain't no glory in the gallows, a trail of names and memories, stories half true when they're told. There ain't no glory in the gallows, only the weight of what you know, and every mile behind your shadow is a debt you'll always owe. Legends are cheap. Living with them ain't. Every man has a place he keeps buried. Mine grows beneath a cottonwood tree. Summer heat in '78, dust rolled slow beyond the gate. Daddy worked that stubborn land, cracked old boots and calloused hands. Cottonwood beside the creek, its roots ran deep and its shade ran sweet. That's where he taught me right from wrong, back when the world still felt strong. But money talks louder than honest men, and greed don't care who bleeds. Beneath the cottonwood, that's where my childhood lies, buried with the promises and the light in my mama's eyes. Beneath the cottonwood, where the river bends out west, that's where they took the life we knew and left the hurt to do the rest. A banker came in a black sedan, holding papers none could understand. Said the debt was due by harvest moon, said we'd be leaving soon. Daddy begged for one more year, but mercy never stopped there. 3 weeks later he was gone, and the farm got sold at dawn. Some wounds heal over, some learn how to breathe. Beneath the cottonwood, that's where my childhood lies, buried the promises and the light in my mama's eyes. Beneath the cottonwood, where the river bends out west, that's where they took the life we knew and left the hurt to do the rest. I think that's where the anger started, not with a gun, not with the law, but with watching good people lose to bad men in clean suits. Cottonwood, every mile still leads me there, to the boy who swore he'd never bow to the world that left him bare. Beneath the cottonwood, the roots still hold my name, and maybe every road I took was just trying to get back again. Funny thing about roots, even when you run, they run with you. Wind remembers names long forgot. I carved my sins through canyon stone, with a stolen horse and a heart gone cold. Sheriff's posters faded in the rain, but the ghost still knew my name. 3 black crows on a telegraph line mark the miles of this life of mine. Every dollar stained with smoke and blood, every prayer swallowed by the mud. Now the desert sun hangs low and red, like a bounty on my head. 6 feet of dust is all I own, a patch of earth where the wild winds moan. No silver cross, no marble stone. Just a tired old outlaw coming home. 6 feet of dust beneath the sky, where broken men and legends lie. If heaven asks where I've been tonight, tell 'em I rode through the firelight. I bury brothers beneath mesquite, left boot tracks where the dead still sleep. The years took more than the law ever could, turned my bones into weathered wood. And I hear that whistle down the ridge, like death crossing an old iron bridge. Ain't afraid now, ain't no use. The devil already knows my boots. 6 feet of dust is all I need, a final mile for a dying breed. Let the coyote sing where I once stood, an outlaw lost to the cottonwood. The wind remembers, the dust forgives. I didn't see a man out there. Saw what I used to be. Woke up where the highway ends. No Caleb, no law, no friends. Just dust and silence in the air, and a version of me standing there. Same boots, same broken stare, same weight of everything I wear, but younger eyes, less worn by sin, like I was meeting me again. He didn't speak, neither did I, but I felt every reason why. I met myself in the dust that night, underneath the dying light. He asked me where the good man went before the bullets and the descent. I met myself in the dust so cold, one young, one tired, one brave, one old, and neither of us could turn away from the price we both still pay. He said, was it worth the ride? I said, depends on what survived. He laughed like I used to laugh before I split my soul in half. Then silence swallowed everything, like a rusted church bell ring. And I realized in that space I couldn't outrun my own face. Some ghosts don't haunt the night, they look like you. I met myself in the dust that night. No judge, no law, no right or right, choice I couldn't undo, standing there looking through. I met myself in the dust so wide, two broken roads, no place to hide. And when the wind erased the line, only one of us walked out alive. Maybe hell ain't fire, maybe it's recognition. I met myself in the dust that night and finally stopped the endless flight. No victory, no defeat, just the man I had to meet. I met myself in the dust alone, where every sin I'd ever known finally stood and said my name. Nothing ever felt the same. He was me. And I was him. They asked me once, what happens after the story ends? I think I finally know now. No horses left to ride, no ghost I need to fight, no names I need to clear, no law I need to fear. The road don't call my name no more, it just leads me to a quieter shore, where every mile I used to run feels like something already done. The world kept spinning, I just stepped aside. When the dust finally settles and the stories fade to gray, all the sins I tried to bury finally drift away. When the dust finally settles, there's nothing left to prove, just a man in all his silence and the peace he never knew. I used to think redemption was a gunshot or a name, or some final kind of justice that could balance out the pain. But now I sit in morning light, no enemy inside, and I realize forgiveness never needed me to fight. Some endings don't arrive, they just happen slowly. When the dust finally settles and the echoes disappear, there's no legend left behind me, only footprints in the years. When the dust finally settles, there's no outlaw left to run, just a man who lived a wildfire and became the setting sun. Maybe I was never a monster, maybe I was just a man who didn't know when to stop. When the dust finally settles, there's no thunder left to calm, no more riding through the darkness, no more running from it because the hardest fight I ever had was learning to rest. And when the dust finally settles, there's only silence left. Somehow it's enough. The law never caught me. A friendy. Me and Caleb rode for years through dust storms, whiskey, blood, and tears. Shared cold nights beneath the stars and patched each other's battle scars. If I had bread, then he had half. If he got hurt, I'd watch his back. Some bonds feel stronger than steel chains, or so I thought back in those days. Funny thing about hunger, it changes men. When Caleb sold my name, he didn't need a gun, just 30 pieces of silver and a promise from someone. When Caleb sold my name, the bounty bought his soul, and the brother I once trusted left me out there in the cold. Saw his horse outside of jail the night before they caught my trail. Didn't think much of it then, never guessed he'd turned his hand. 3 days later, shots rang out. Sheriff's men came closing down like wolves that somehow knew the way to every camp where I would stay. The law knew things only one man knew. When Caleb sold my name, he didn't need a knife, just one signature on paper, and the price became my life. When Caleb sold my name, he crossed a line for gold and traded years of brotherhood for something he couldn't hold. I heard he bought a little farm, 2 horses, a red barn. Tried to live a peaceful life, but guilt has a longer memory than any outlaw alive. Money spins, ghosts don't. Money spins, ghosts don't. When Caleb sold my name, he thought the debt was paid, but every sunrise after that just deepened what he gave away. When Caleb sold my name, 2 men were left behind. One became 100 ghosts, and one lost his peace of mind. I never went looking for revenge. Life got there first. Some places don't disappear, they just keep waiting. There's a house by Coyote Creek, white paint peeling from the heat, front porch leaning to the west, like it's tired and needs its rest. I remember your Sunday dress, wildflower perfume on your neck, back when my hands were clean enough to hold a future without blood. But the road kept calling louder than the promises I'd made, and that house by Coyote Creek still stands where I used to dream, while I'm chasing shadows through the dark with a wanted poster and a broken heart. That house by Coyote Creek lives in every mile I leave. No matter how far these wheels may roll, part of me never left that road. I heard you married years ago to a man who never had to go, never slept with one eye open wide, never carried ghosts along the ride. And maybe that's the way it should, a good life built from honest wood, while I traded sunlight for the night and freedom for a constant fight. Some decks are paid with money, some are paid with time, and that house by Coyote Creek still stands inside of me, like a photograph the years can't fade, or a prayer too late to save. That house by Coyote Creek lives in every mile I leave. No matter how far these wheels may roll, part of me never left that road. If I ever pass that way again, I won't stop. I wouldn't know where to begin. Some doors are meant for leaving, some are never meant to close. That house by Coyote they lay me in the dust, that's the place I'll dream of most. Some places don't disappear, they just keep waiting.